Hello everyone. Today we'll study the topics in continuation we studied in the previous video. So, the chapter 2, Internet Services and Mobile Technologies. Remote login and file transfer protocols. So, you are very much familiar with the file transfer protocol. So, we'll study different protocols falls in these two categories. Okay, so we'll start with the remote login, and before that these are some softwares: Telnet and SSH for remote login, and SCP, FTP and SFTP related to the file transfer protocols. Remote login. So login that allows a user computer to connect to the server computer via network or direct communication link and to interact with the server computer as if the user terminal, that means the client computer, were directly connected to that server computer. Got it? So with the help of these protocols, Telnet, the client computer can be connected to server computer with the help of a remote login. So this connection is insecure, and a secure connection, that is secure shell SSH. If it is adopted, then client computer will send the request to the server for the remote login, and this connection will be the secure connection. So first of all, Telnet, it is actually the program that allow a user to log on to a remote computer. Okay, it is a popular client server program, and its abbreviation is abbreviation of terminal network. So Telnet provides a connection to the remote computer in such a way that a local terminal, that means a client computer, appears to be on the remote side. SSH stands for secure shell. It is used to connect to remote computer securely, and compared to Telnet, SSH is secure, wherein the client server connection is authenticated using a digital certificate and passwords are encrypted. So if you are sending the request using SSH from the client computer, then the connection between the client server computers will be totally secured. Okay, that means a digital certificate will be sent, as well as the passwords will also be encrypted. So here you can see, if there is a secure connection, then sniffers cannot attack the computer. SCP, Secure Copy Protocol, is a means of securely transferring computer files between a local host and a remote host, or between two remote hosts. Okay, so it is based on the secure shell protocol only, SCP. It commonly refers to both secure copy protocol and the program itself. Okay, it is the software or protocol that securely transfer the file from one computer to another, or from one remote host to another remote host. Okay, and it is based on secure shell protocol. Now FTP we have already studied, but now we will study about the difference between FTP and SFTP. So SFTP is also a type of file transfer protocol which is secure. So FTP stands for File Transfer Protocol, and SFTP stands for Secure File Transfer Protocol. In FTP, secure channel is not provided, but in SFTP, secure channel is provided. FTP is a part of TCP/IP protocol, and SFTP is part of SSH protocol. Okay, whenever there is a secure connection in FTP, it will adopt SSH protocol. So FTP usually runs on port 21, SFTP runs on port 22. FTP establishes connection under TCP protocol, and SFTP establishes control connection under SSH protocol. FTP do not encrypt the data before sending, that is why it is not secure, and SFTP will encrypt the data before sending. Chat. Chat is actually a type of web service. As you know, the chapter name is Internet Services. So till now we were discussing about the various web services provided by Internet. So it is online textual or multimedia conversations. It is real-time communication between two users via computer, and it is widely interactive text-based communication process that takes place over the internet. Chatting is a virtual means of communication that involves sending and receiving of the messages, share audios, videos between users located in any part of the world. In chatting, we type a message in our chat box which is immediately received by the recipient. Then the recipient types a message in response to our message, and which is instantly received by us. A chat room is a hub of internet chatting. Chat room means virtual room, are actually chat servers that allow several users to log into them simultaneously. Okay, then after joining the chat room, we can read the messages of other users and send our messages to them or to anyone else. Now, another type of web services is video conferencing. You are very much familiar with it. So, it is a communication technology that integrates videos and audios to connect users anywhere in the world as if they are in the same room. So, for video conference, you must have a computer, a camera, a microphone, a video screen, and a sound system. So this technology is most popular in field of business because it allows meeting or conferences to be held without the need of all the participants to travel to a single location. And so it saves time and money. Many people can hear and see each other, share whiteboard, and many other applications. Now, advantages and disadvantage of video conferencing. So advantage is that it reduces the travel cost, okay, and also increases productivity through collaborative working. And disadvantage is in middle of an important meeting you may be disconnected at any time and have to wait to be reconnected. Now advantages, many people can share their videos with each other at the same time. Then virtual whiteboard allow people from different locations to add their own thoughts or ideas into one collaborative space. Then with more advanced services, a document can be changed and typed directly from other computers connected to the conference. Then disadvantages, for a long time video conferencing equipments have been expensive and out of the reach of the smaller businesses. Then senders and receivers must be online at the same time for video conferencing. E-learning. It means electronic learning. It is actually the term used to describe a means of teaching and learning through technology such as network, browser, CD-ROM, DVD multimedia platforms, etc. E-learning websites. Examples are there. www.moodle.org. It is open source course management system, CMS. Okay, it is also known as learning management system, LMS. Then w3cschools.com. It is online web tutorial where you can learn many languages. Now exelearning.org. It is freely available open source application useful in publishing of web content. Then ncrt.nic.in. It is used for it is as interactive module for students to learn various topics. Then gcf learnfree.edu. org. It is an educational part of the GSF mission, and GSF creates and provide quality innovative online learning opportunities to anyone who wants to improve the technology, literacy and math skills. So benefits are that classwork can be scheduled around office and family. It reduces travel time and travel cost for off-campus students. Then it is self-paced learning modules, allow students to work at their own pace. Learning can accommodate different learning styles and facilitate learning through a variety of activities. It develops knowledge of an internet and computer skills that will help learners throughout their lives and careers. Successfully completed online or computer-based courses build self-knowledge and self-confidence and encourage students to take responsibility of their learning. Another service is e-banking, electronic banking. It is defined as automated delivery of banking products and services to the customers over the internet. Okay. E-banking is also known as internet banking, online banking or PC banking. So in this, bank has a centralized database that is web enabled. Okay, it is online. The data can be accessed with the help of internet. So various web services are displayed in the menu. We can select any service, then to access account specific information and possibly conduct transactions from a remote location such as at home or at workplace. Okay. Now customers can access e-banking services using an intelligent electronic device, that means PC. PDS can be used, ATM, kiosk, touch tone telephone, etc. Okay, here you can see if there is a bank, with the help of internet we can access a bank website from home as well as from business. So it can be classified into two categories, transactional and non-transactional. So in transactional means making financial transactions. So that involves electronic fund transfer, bill payments, loan applications and repayments, buying investment products. Okay, this we have to invest money. Okay, we have to make financial transactions. But the non-transactional are like if we have to view bank statements. So account balance viewing, bank statement downloading, checkbook ordering and provision of account bank statement, etc. So these are non-transactional. Now one more type of banking is there nowadays, it is very popular. So that is e-banking with the help of mobile banking. Sorry, it is mobile banking, and we can simply use the facility provided by e-banking with our cell phones or other mobile devices. And this one is quite popular method of banking, and it might also refer to as m-banking or SMS banking. The services are account information, transaction, investment, SMS service, etc. and much more. Another type of web service is e-shopping, electronic shopping. So e-shopping or online shopping is the process of buying goods and services from merchants who sell their products on internet. So there is social impact of e-business nowadays. There is reduction in transactions and other costs, increase in internet users, unshortened supply chain, improved customer service, increased productivity and efficiency, and access to international market. Advantages and disadvantages of e-shopping. So here finding a product online is much more easier than looking for it in the local store. Nowadays online shopping is very reliable, and most of the stores provide money back guarantee, and you have infinite options to choose a product, And if you do not find any product within your country, then you can shop online from an international store also. Now disadvantages: customer might be worried as to the similarity of the product being ordered and the product being received. Okay, you have to wait for the delivery. You may be a victim of online fraud, and you have to pay for shipping while returning. And you cannot really feel the items you purchase. So all these are disadvantages. Some examples of e-shopping websites are flipkart.com, irctc.co.in. Flipkart, you know, it is online shopping website. IRCTC, online railway ticket reservation in India. LIC, insurance company. eBay.in, online shopping website. Amazon, online shopping website. Yatra.com, it is online flight ticket booking service, and so on. There are some threats of e-shopping also, because here we have to give our personal details, financial details also, like credit card details, etc. And then we have to make transactions also. So first of all, adware. Obviously, if you are using any website, then ads appear, and sometimes these ads are actually used for promotions. So malicious websites often contain pop-up ads that advertise some incredible promotions. Okay, like you might have won something for free, etc., and then after that you will follow the link and will go to a fraud website. Okay, so there can be a fake online stores also. There can be identity theft. Then unencrypted data may not be secure. Then fake apps are there. Data breaches, that means someone can try to steal your data. And unsecured Wi-Fi connection. Now security tips of e-shopping is, we should use powerful antivirus software. Then we should keep your security software, browser and operating system up to date. Okay, like we should update our antivirus software, we should update browser settings also, update browsers, and we should update operating system on time. And we should not use debit cards. It is better to use credit card rather than debit cards. And use powerful passwords. Don't share more information than necessary. Learn to spot fake websites. Avoid any phishing attempts. Try buying on mobile instead of desktop. Okay, because in desktop we have browsers, and browsers used to store cookies. In cookies there are saved username and passwords. So if that file is stolen, then it will be very insecure. Okay, so it is better we should shop from mobile. E-reservation. So another type of web service is electronic reservation. Here we can make reservations for a service via internet. So there are many types of services, like we can book, reserve railways, airways tickets, hotel rooms, tourist packages, etc. These are examples of e-reservation website. irctc.com, makemytrip.com, yatra.com and bookingsite.com, etc. Benefits of e-reservations: real-time process. If we book a seat, it will automatically be updated, and then no one will able to book your seat. Okay, so if you used an agent that did not use computers, they would need to call other agents saying this seat had been taken. Then we can access more information and find other details online about our reservation. Then websites can compare different flight prices and details, etc. Then other benefits are, we can book travel tickets like train tickets and air-based travels. Then hotel rooms, we can reserve rooms in different hotels. Sport matches, so we can buy tickets for different matches. Movie and theater, we can buy tickets, e-tickets for movie show. We can even buy e-tickets for exhibitions, fairs, live performances, etc. So there can be a reservation like this. This is done with a mobile app. So here we can see in from we can enter that from where we have to go and to the destination where we have to reach, the date, etc. we have to select. Then after that we will get some result. So according to our convenience, we can choose a train, and then after that we can provide our details. Then after that the ticket will be booked. We have to provide our personal details to it. Then after that prices will be calculated and given, and then after that the seat availability can be checked. We will make the payment, and then payment successful message you will get. Another web service is e-governance. So it refers to application of electronic means in governance with an aim of fulfilling the requirement of common man at affordable cost and in fastest possible time. So here the government will be having their websites for different purpose, and then the common man can use those websites to get some documents or to simply for grievances, feedbacks, etc. Now social impact of e-governance is that the improved efficiency of administration and service delivery, reduced waiting time, reduced cost because we don't have to travel to the office, so we don't have to pay the travel cost. Also we don't have to pay for anything. We can simply download from form online, and then we can apply for the document. Otherwise we can fill the forms there only on the internet, and then we can submit. Increased public participation and increased transparency. Now e-governance websites are incometaxindia.gov.in, provide all services of income tax department. indiancodes.nic.in, it is related to Supreme Court and High Courts of India. rti.gov.in, Right to Information Act 2005 mandates timely response to citizen request for government information. Then india.gov.in, so here the portal not only gives the information about Government of India but also the users to apply online for various services provided by the government. Then drdu.nic.in, so this website is of Defense Research and Development Organization. E-groups means electronic groups. So e-group is group of people using internet to share ideas, different opinions, experiences, and to learn from each other. So e-groups are internet based discussion groups. Message posted in discussion is known as post, and all posts are visible to all the group members. Example, groups.yahoo.com, groups.google.com. Benefits are: helps to create and maintain social relationship, facilitate communication among members, research as members assist one another. It facilitates learning, less time and cost is reduced. It keeps members abreast with new development and knowledge. Social networking. Social networking is used to socialize online. Okay, so here we can make connections with friends, family, classmates, customers, and clients. So it is a website. Social networking site is a website that provide a venue for people to share their activity with family, friends, and colleagues, or to share their interest in a particular topic. Some examples you already know: Facebook, LinkedIn, and Twitter, etc. Now advantages are that it helps us to find our long lost and childhood friends and relatives. We don't have to alter, means no softwares or setting changes necessary to PC phone. Okay, we don't have to make changes in the settings or any software. and it is an easy and cost effective way to reach our consumers and people in our network. For business purposes, connecting with our customers on a personal and professional level will make them loyal to your company and brand. It helps in building credibility amongst the customer. Disadvantages: it requires you to input your name, location, age, gender, and many other personal information. Okay, so that is the risk. So, being online, we are at risk of facing cases of cyber stalking and theft identity. Okay, time consuming. If you are new to social networking, then it will take time for you to learn the process. Fake accounts are there, we should be careful, and scams or harassments are can be there with you. So some ethics of social networking: utilitarian approach, that means provide the most good or do the less least harm. Okay, you have to use it in a proper way and don't harm anyone. Right approach, that means protect and respect the moral rights of the affected parties. Then fairness approach, that means treat all human beings equally. Okay, whenever we are simply passing on comments or we are posting something, we should not hurt anyone. Common good approach, that means basis for ethical actions, respect and comparison of all others. Some social networking sites, you can see LinkedIn, it is used for business purpose also. Then YouTube, here we can like, share, comment on someone's video and we can post our own videos. Facebook, online social networking site. Twitter, it is very much similar to blog also. Okay, there it can be an individual will maintain it. And then it is a service for friends and family and co-workers to communicate and stay connected through exchange of quick frequent messages. Tumblr, Pinterest, Instagram, etc. Now mobile technologies. So here in mobile technologies, you are very much familiar with SMS and MMS. So SMS full form is short message service, and here we can send short text message up to 160 characters over mobile phones. But in MMS, its full form is multimedia message service, and here it includes different media, like we can send images, picture, audio, video over mobile phones. Now 3G versus 4G. 3G, it stands for third generation. 4G stands for fourth generation. 4G is next generation mobile technology with enhanced download and upload speed and better connectivity than 3G. 4G is faster, and that is why it is better of two technologies for high intensity use like large downloads. If we use internet on our phones to browse Facebook, download emails and watch YouTube videos, we may not notice the difference between 3G and 4G when we have a strong network connection. So 4G is often 10 times faster than 3G in real world use, with speeds commonly between 20 Mbps and 50 Mbps. 3G speed ramp up over time while 4G speeds remain consistently fast from the beginning to the end of a download. Okay student, only this much for today. Chapter 2 is over. Thank you. Have a nice day.